Dr. Lewy is here. Now, this is a very interesting relationship between diabetes and erectile dysfunction. Basically, this is one of the complications of diabetes in men, and the rates of erectile dysfunction are actually going up in men. Even teenagers who are supposed to have the highest amount of testosterone that will actually give them the erections and help them maintain the erection for a specific period of time that will be guaranteed for a satisfactory sexual process. So it's becoming a serious problem, and of course, most of it is linked to masturbation, chronic masturbation, pornography, and all that. But we will see, as we discuss through the video, some of the things that we actually need to do in terms of changing the blood sugars so you can actually get back your manhood and erections in order. One, understand that as a man, you have the two hormones. You have the testosterone and the estrogen. And what you need is more of the testosterone than you need the estrogen, because as you head towards the estrogen, you become more feminine. You grow the man boobs, you become fat, you grow the hips, and you grow this narrow voice, the thin voice. Then you become very chaotic. So that is basically estrogen trying to actually make sure that you are getting to the feminine states. But the process of conversion of testosterone to estrogen, we talked about it the other day, and we said it's called aromatization, and it happens under the influence of the enzyme called aromatase. This enzyme is actually activated by alcohol and being obese and the fatty liver. So when you have all those, you're actually activating this enzyme, and now you start converting your testosterone levels into estrogen levels. Now you know very well, there's a lot of things that are happening. If you get to 30, your testosterone levels are going down. The diets that you're eating, sedentarism, taking the warm showers and all that, all these things are actually bringing down our testosterone. Even the chemicals that we get exposed to. And indirectly, the hormonal contraceptives, pornography and masturbation is also there, aimless ejaculation, all of these are actually bringing down our levels of testosterone. But this process is very important, because if you block this process, you end up boosting your testosterone levels and you end up surviving erectile dysfunction. Now, understand, sugar is very detrimental to levels of testosterone. And the reason is, of course, sugar will make you fat. As you grow fat, you activate the conversion of T into estrogen. That is a problem. But understand this, for you to get a firm erection and maintain that erection for a good period of time so that it can actually be satisfactory sexual experience, you need two things. One, you need nervous transmission and nervous connection, the nerve connection from the brain all the way to your organ, the penis. Now remember, as a complication of diabetes, sugar destroys nerves. Therefore, it becomes a serious problem for you to actually get that connection between your brain and your penis and get an erection. Number two, you need blood supply. Now, under the penis, you have this spongy-like tissue that actually gorges with blood because it is highly vascularized. So it gorges with blood, and once it gorges with blood, you can now have a firm erection, and then you can maintain that erection for a period of a prolonged period of time. Now, sugar causes narrowing of blood vessels that actually supply the same penis, the same spongy tissue in the penis. That means you have now reduced blood flow towards the penis. Have you ever thought about it this way? The mode of action of Viagra, the sildenafil, is actually to dilate blood vessels so that blood flows into the penis and you get an erection. This is the reason why Viagra was actually indicated for pulmonary hypertension, because it dilates blood vessels and your blood pressure falls. Now, if you have erectile issues and possibly you're diabetic, you're on medication for diabetes, and you have hypertension and you're on medication for hypertension, that drug sildenafil can actually become a serious problem, because imagine if you've taken drugs that will lower blood pressure, you have drugs for hypertension, and then you are now having an encounter with a woman and you've again taken a high dose of sildenafil. That means you're going to drop your blood pressures double the times. Now that will take you into hypotension, and that can actually be a coma. So this is the reason why most elder men end up dying in action or end up suffering a coma when they are in action. It's because you actually dilated blood vessels, and now there is reduced blood flow towards the brain, and most of the blood is actually supplied towards the penis. That drops your blood pressure. When you go into hypotension, you can actually go into a coma. So take a lot of cautions when you have hypertension, you're on medication of hypertension, and you want to take or utilize a Viagra. Okay, so that is how it happens. Now, so blood flow is now limited towards the penis, therefore no erection. And again, nervous transmission towards the penis is a problem. There's no connection between the brain and the penis, and that becomes an ED, an erectile dysfunction. So if you simply manage the sugars, chances of you actually getting back your erections are in order. There are people who have actually lost weight and they end up getting the erections back. That is very, very guaranteed. There are people who have reversed diabetes and their manhood comes back, and now they can pound the arm to satisfaction. So therefore, you must understand these basics before that. So if you understand your testosterone levels to sugar, the relationship with sugar, you understand the estrogen, how estrogen comes in handy to actually make sure that you become more of a woman than a man, you'll understand that. Then you understand your sugar states and your nerve states because of the sugar as a complication of diabetes, the nerve problems, you will simply know. But let me help you get the solutions here. One, diets are very important when it comes to you just trying to fix erectile dysfunction issues. Now, most of you will ask, because most of you are so interested in quick fixes, Daktari, as I fix the diet, what should I use? The answer is, most men suffer from erectile dysfunction because they are chronic masturbators. At least start from somewhere. Before you even think about diets, before you even think about the healthy habits here, start by dropping the unhealthy habits. This means you will have to sacrifice some things. Of course, you will have to sacrifice alcohol, and specifically beer, because beer comes with phytoestrogens that will actually convert you into being a woman, more of a woman. So this has to go. Alcohol has to go. And actually, alcohol has no benefit in a man. It actually just takes out money from your pocket. It doesn't bring anything back. Okay? So as you want to have fun, you are going to suffer. And I understand there are men who will tell me, you know what, I take a certain type of beer to actually give me the strength. If I take this type of beer, I have all the erections. And I'm telling you, you're just you're just creating a problem for yourself in future. You're getting excitement now because actually it's actually a psychological thing. But in future, you're going to have more problems. Even if you take that beer, nothing will happen. Sedentarism is coming in handy also. Like most men nowadays are just playing the PlayStation, sitting in the house for over 2 hours, just playing, even 4 hours, even the whole day. They're gambling, they're masturbating, they're playing video games and all that. And that is actually lowering your levels of testosterone. And remember, as you sit in that house doing all these things, you're actually denying yourself the sun, which is actually going to actually help you get vitamin D that is very necessary for your erections and your manhood. So you need the sun. So these things that you do, even the warm showers, some of you take hot showers, all these things are coming up. The sodas that you take, the drugs that you indulge in, the mirror, the cut, if those of you who don't know what mirror is, the sodas, the processed foods, the junk that you eat all the time. Sedentarism is a very serious problem. Then after that, you just simply, you're playing video games here and then you move to the bed and you're busy masturbating. You're lowering your testosterone levels, and of course you expect erectile dysfunction. I have seen a lot of boys coming in, boys at the age of 14, boys at the age of 19, telling me that, you know what, doctor, I can't have an erection. And I'm wondering, at 14, you're supposed to have super erections, about 6 to 8 erections a day. What is happening to you that you don't have erections? And they tell you, no, doctor, I've been masturbating for the longest time. I'm wondering, you are 14 and you're telling me you've been masturbating for a long period of time. I start wondering, when did you start masturbating? And masturbation has become a serious problem in our youth. Therefore, it has to be actually handled. It's a demon that has to be handled, and I hope we can actually tackle that on Identity Fridays. So join in on Fridays to just enjoy this type of content. So yes, these are things that are coming. And also, before I forget, the anxiety. We talked about sexual performance anxiety. That when you're anxious and you are in the dire need to actually perform, that's when you perform less. When you really need to prove a point, you want to prove a point to somebody, that's the time you actually mess up the most. Because this anxiety sets in, and when it sets in, erections are gone. So these are the things that you can actually do. Drop the alcohol, drop the sedentarism, just do something. Be active, but don't be active playing video games. Go out and exercise. Take some rest. 6 to 8 hours of sleep is very important. Enjoy the sun. About 30 minutes of a daily sunlight exposure is very important, and expose your spine to be specific. Fasting is coming in handy because fasting boosts your testosterone levels by over 100%. Prolonged fast can actually take you to more than 300% of testosterone. So that's very important. And as you fast, combine it with healthy diets. On the diets, do not forget to eat fatty meats, because testosterone is actually coming in from the cholesterol that is coming in with the diets, the fatty meats, the saturated fat. So consume all that. Okay. And remember, as we are doing this, our intention is to reverse diabetes, and through that, to reverse erectile dysfunction, which is a complication of the microvascular complication of diabetes. So always put your mind on this. And this video is possibly going to help those men who are already on drugs for diabetes and they have been diagnosed with diabetes. Okay, so for the others, you can actually benefit from it, but this is specifically for those people who are diabetic. Go ahead and do cold showers, enjoy your sleep, go to the gym and lift weights, avoid sedentarism, alcohol, and eat healthy. Start fasting, and above all, there's something called semen retention. Now, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, sit aside a little bit. This for the men, because I understand ladies are the ones who actually make men to ejaculate. Because if a man does not ejaculate, you end up thinking that I did not satisfy this man in bed. That is not true. Ejaculation and orgasm to a man are not the same. Men get an orgasm, which is the feel good, and then they get an ejaculation, which is the release of the sperm in the semen. When the men release the semen, they become zombies. They don't want conversations. They don't want anything. They just want to sleep. And they cannot be creative. At this moment in time, they have actually wasted so much of their energy, so much of their testosterone. And now they're feeling bad about the experience. So ejaculation was designed to make a woman pregnant. Therefore, if a man does not want to make a woman pregnant and you don't want to rely on her safe days, I put it in quotes because I don't believe in those, and you don't want to put on a condom, therefore, please just retain your semen. Work on retaining semen, because when you retain that semen, you actually boost your testosterone levels. I'm not telling you to stop having sex. I'm telling you, if you have sex, you don't need to ejaculate. That's my point. So if you don't ejaculate, you're boosting testosterone. And remember, anytime a man beats a challenge, your testosterone levels go up. And that's why we do cold showers every morning. Okay? Yeah, good. And then I wanted to talk to you about these hormonal contraceptives. So these are the direct ways to actually change your lifestyle in terms of this condition. But indirectly, there are two things that have come up. And I'm thinking that you can share your views on this in the comment section. One is vasectomy, and two is hormonal contraceptives. Now, my view is this, that I've been looking deeper into the matter, and I've been wondering, why are hormonal contraceptives so much being pushed so much to our ladies or our women in Africa? And I realized there's a big agenda to it that we just don't see. The big agenda is, if a woman is on contraceptive methods, of course, one of the things that has to happen with the men is aimless ejaculation. The man knows, now you know what, I have control over this. My woman has control over birth. They end up ejaculating aimlessly. And as you ejaculate aimlessly, you're actually lowering your testosterone levels. When you lower your testosterone levels, what do you expect? You become weak, you become more feminine. And now control can actually come in. They can actually easily control you. They can easily bring in policies that will actually destroy the masses. This is the reason why most of our politicians can easily pass bills that don't make sense. Why? Because they don't have the power. They worship money. Their testosterone levels are so low. They are obese, and you can easily see that. And therefore, this is a form of control. But apart from these hormonal contraceptives being causing men to ejaculate aimlessly, these contraceptives are going to weaken the women. They're going to make women depressed and sick. And as the women become very chaotic, the men are messed up. They become so weak also. And also, as these women become sick and depressed, the men are the ones who are going to pay the bills for these women. So men, as you put your woman on contraceptive methods, no, your pocket is the one that will be drained, because it's your responsibility to take care of the healthcare bills of these women. Therefore, you'll go broke. That is number one. Number two, you'll become depressed. They'll put you on antidepressants that will actually depress you even further. And number three, you will end up being feminine and very weak. And when you're a weak man, you're emotional, it is easy to be controlled. It's easy to actually bring in policies that will actually kill your people without you having to ask questions. And then the issue on vasectomy, it was so much pushed by our celebrities. And I was wondering, why is this issue so much pushed? Again, it rolls down to aimless ejaculation. A man who has had a vasectomy is constantly ejaculating. Even though he's not ejaculating viable sperms, he's just ejaculating semen. So this man is a very weak man. Therefore, do not ever bother doing a vasectomy. Do not ever bother doing a vasectomy as a man. If you can't put on a condom, retain your semen. If you can retain your semen, make the woman pregnant. It's that simple. So these two things are actually coming in hand to just make the men weaker and take men into all these problems. And you see, a man who is suffering from erectile dysfunction has very low self-esteem. Therefore, this is a man you can easily control, you can easily manipulate. That's why I can actually bring you solutions, in quotes, in terms of medication, in terms of Uji power. And you'll quickly run to it, hoping that Uji power will change your situation in terms of your erections. You take the Uji power today, you perform today because of the psychological aspect of it, and then afterwards, you go back to the same things. You still have the erection problems. And now you force Mama Uji to actually put the Viagra in the porridge. So you end up suffering the same fate. But as Mama Uji is putting the Viagra in the porridge, she does not understand that Viagra will actually cause you hypotension. She does not care that you're on medication for hypertension. You end up taking the Uji that has Viagra plus the medication for hypertension. Now you go into hypotension, you go into a coma. And of course, we will celebrate you for dying in action. So take a lot of cautions when it comes to your manhood. Fix the testosterone levels through these processes and see what happens to you. I thought you should know.